So far in our discussion of verbs, we've talked about differences in person, number, and tense, and how we alter our verb to fit the situation. Well, there's one more way we can categorize verbs, and that's mood.
Generally speaking, there are two moods, the indicative and the subjunctive. The indicative mood is used to express things that are definite, clear, and factual. So far, just about everything we've covered has been indicative. The subjunctive is used to express things that are more subjective, things like emotions, wishes, doubts, and hypothetical situations.
So the subjunctive is a mood used primarily to express abstract or conceptualized actions or states.
In other words, the subjunctive is another thing you do to verbs in certain situations.
First, we'll show you how to make the subjunctive. Then we'll show you when you need to use it.
And then we'll show you a picture of me in a Speedo.
Lovely.
Before we go into when, where, and why you use the subjunctive, we're going to show you how to make it. So for now, just learn the endings. We'll show you where to use them later.
Section A, forming the subjunctive.
Making subjunctive verbs is a two-step process. First, we have to get the verb in the proper form. Then we have to tack on the appropriate ending.
We're going to use our old friend hablar to show you how to change AR verbs into the subjunctive. But first, we need to get the verb ready for its ending. Begin by putting the verb in its yo form. And since hablar has a regular conjugation, that would give us hablo. Then we knock off the O, and our verb is now ready for its ending. I know, it looks a lot like hablar stem, so why go through all this trouble? Think about all those weird yo forms you've run across in your days working with Spanish. Getting into the habit now of changing verbs to their yo form and knocking off the O will save you a lot of headaches in the future.
Here are the subjunctive AR endings.
Es, hemos, eis, en.
Notice how these subjunctive endings for AR verbs look a lot like the regular endings for ER verbs. Kind of freaky. Let's stick them onto what's left of hablar and see what we get.
Hable, hables, hable, hablemos, habléis, hablen.
Check out how the first and the third person singular forms are the same. That means you have to rely on context to know which is being used. Let's look at a couple more AR examples.
Let's conjugate the verb llorar, which means to cry, in the subjunctive. First, we put llorar in its yo form, which is lloro. Then we chop off the O. And lastly, all we have to do is add the subjunctive AR endings.
Llore, llores, llore, lloremos, lloréis, lloren.
Warning, warning, exception, exception. While the method we just showed you for forming the subjunctive works about 90% of the time, there is something else you need to know. Way back when you first learned about stem change verbs, you probably learned that the nosotros and vosotros forms were immune to all stem changes. Like when you conjugate the stem change verb for to fly, volar. Volar is an O to UE verb, so its normal present tense conjugation would be vuelo, vuelas, vuela, volamos, voláis, vuelan. The O doesn't change in the nosotros and vosotros forms. Well, the same thing's true with the subjunctive.
Stay with us here. So if you conjugate volar in the subjunctive like we've been doing all along, we put it into its yo form, vuelo, chop off the O, then add our subjunctive endings. Vuele, vueles, vuele, vuelemos, vueléis, vuelen. See something fishy? We have a stem change in the nosotros and vosotros forms, but we know that they're immune to any sort of vowel changes. So what do? We zap them back to normal. It's crazy, it's strange, but hey, that's why it's called advanced Spanish.
Okay, say I want to conjugate pensar, which means to think, in the subjunctive. First, I'd put it in its yo form. Okay, yo pienso. Okay, now I chop off the O and add the endings. Es, hemos, eis, and en. Okay, piense, pienses, piense, piensemos, pienseis, piensen. Okay, now wait a second. The nosotros and vosotros, I know that those forms never have vowel stem changes, so I better zap them back. Piense, pienses, piense, Pensemos, penséis, piensen. Hey, I just conjugated the verb in the subjunctive. All right.
Now let's look at the ER and IR verbs. They work the same way. They just have a different set of endings.
A, as, a, amos, ais, an.
Let's use comer. First we put it in its yo form, como. Next, we chop off the O, and now we're ready for our ER, IR endings.
Coma, comas, coma, comamos, comáis, coman.
Again, check out how the first and third person singular endings are the same, just like with the AR verbs. Let's do an IR verb. How about salir? We change it to the yo form, salgo. Then we lose the O, and then we add our endings.
Salga, salgas, salga, salgamos, salgáis, salgan.
Are you getting the hang of it yet?
I think so. Let's see. We take the yo form pongo, cross off the O, then add the subjunctive ER and IR endings. So ponga, pongas, ponga, pongamos, pongáis, pongan. I did it. I did it!
Now, of course, we have a few irregular nasties in the subjunctive that you just have to memorize.
We're not going to spend a whole lot of time rationalizing them. We're just going to show them to you for your self-edification.
That's right. Now, we're just going to show you 5. Ir, haber, saber, ser, and dar. So get ready.
Here they come.
Ir!
Vaya, vayas, vaya, vayamos, vayáis, vayan.
Haber!
Haya, hayas, haya, hayamos, hayáis, hayan.
Saber!
Sepa, sepas, sepa. Sepamos, sepáis, sepan.
Ser!
Sea, seas, sea. Seamos, seáis, sean.
Dar!
De, des, de. Demos, deis, den.
Now, wasn't that fun?
That was fun.
Yeah, I agree. Well, if you didn't get all that, go back and review that last section again.
Now that you know how to conjugate verbs in the subjunctive,
Yeah, the normal ones and the bizarre ones.
let's look at exactly when, where, and why you use it.
Let's do that.
Let's.
Okay.
Good.